We are Randy and Viola Krebs, Executive Gold Directors from Salt Lake City, Utah, and co-founders of Team DSI. I get the distinct honor and pleasure to introduce our friend and respected leader on tonight's webinar. And this is so good. I'd like to quote an excerpt from Dr. Steve Hryszczuk's book, Royalty Income. To the disbelief of his medical colleagues, anesthesiologist Dr. Steve Hryszczuk walked away from a career in medicine to build a business in an industry known as network marketing. Why would this doctor venture into an industry that even high school dropouts can pursue? It's not that I needed more money, says Dr. Hryszczuk. I needed a different kind of money. The money he is referring to is commonly known as royalty or residual income. It's an income stream that continues to flow in for years after the initial work of creating it stops. Wow, that is powerful. Dr. Steve Hryszczuk and his wife Andrea are Executive Diamond Directors. They are $1 Million Club members, and they have been the recipient of Dr. Wentz Vision Award. Dr. Wentz Vision Award is a prestigious award awarded at each international convention to an associate at any level who has demonstrated exceptional commitment to Dr. Wentz's vision. He is the author of the book, Royalty Income. Steve and Andrea have 4 beautiful children. Last year, he moved his family to Honduras, and I don't know if it was last year or the year before also on that. But you went there for a year to do humanitarian work, and they are back now. They currently reside in Chicago, Illinois. And before I bring Dr. Steve on, I'd like to share my personal experience of Dr. Steve. What sets Dr. Steve apart for me is his incredible passion and dedication. I first met Dr. Steve at a Growth 25 trip. We were in Ireland in 2007, and I believe Dr. Steve was the #2 top USANA grower. He was a gold director at the time, as well as Jared and I, and I got to know Dr. Steve on a more personal level. Throughout my own USANA journey, Dr. Steve has been instrumental to my own personal growth. I first heard of Danny Johnson from Dr. Steve in a personal conversation, which for me gave her the credibility I needed to dive into her trainings. And Dr. Steve is also the co-founder of One Body International. And without further ado, I'd like to bring on Dr. Steve.
Oh, thank you for that kind introduction, Viola. And I just can't believe it. I mean, I got to know you and Jared on that Ireland trip. It just seems like almost a dream trip looking back. I just think, was I really in Ireland? So that was a really neat experience.
It sure was.
Yeah, so thank you for that introduction.
You're welcome. And Dr. Steve, could you share with the team your USANA journey? Any obstacles that you've had to overcome? You've been such a fun person and associate to watch grow because you've been in the limelight, and all of the recognition that you've gotten and the hard work that you've put to get there. And I just want the team to know what it takes to become, to get their goals and become what they want with USANA.
Yeah, there's several things in different levels of priority, but I would say for those of you that might be taking notes, let me say I'll kind of break it down this way. For me, it was true, and I think it has to be true for about everybody. I'm trying to think. There's probably exceptions to what I'm going to say, but I think by and large, number one, you have to have a really strong belief that the products work. Okay, like they're good products, they're impacting your health, and this is really important, they're fairly priced. Because I'll be honest with you, early on, I wasn't even a vitamin user when I started with USANA, and the thought of spending, $50 for a multivitamin, that was really new to me. And I'm from a middle-class family, and I mean that was a lot of money 8-9 years ago. I mean, it's still a good amount of money. So I really needed to know that the products work and that they weren't like ridiculously overpriced. And so I had to do some due diligence, and I looked at the comparative guide, and I looked at other 5-star products, and I actually checked to see what the other 5-star products cost. And lo and behold, I found out that USANA was price pointed very fairly for that kind of a quality product. So I knew the product was fairly priced, and that was important to me because I'd be sharing these with family and friends, and I didn't want friends or family to think I was taking advantage of them with this marketing model that I had really never done before called network marketing. All I'd ever heard were negative things about this industry. So I had some reservations about the marketing model called network marketing. But I did have a strong belief that the products were good. I knew of people whose health improved. I started to see some health improvements in myself. I saw some health improvements in my wife, Andrea. And so my belief that the products were really good and the products were a vehicle for me to serve people, that was very important for me, like very important for me. And I think if USANA was a way to make a lot of money, but the products maybe were kind of fluffy or weak, I don't think I could have pursued it as a model because it was, my sense of making a contribution to people. I mean, we all have to make money, I get it, but I really needed to know that I was impacting lives in a positive way. So that was very, very important to me, and I think it's important to most people who have success in this business. So number one, I would say a strong product belief, okay, where you know the products are impacting your health in a positive way, and you really know that they're fairly priced. So I would say that's kind of like step one, okay? So if you find yourself holding back sometimes from USANA, you might want to ask yourself, where's my product belief? Where does it rate on a scale of 1 to 10? Are you rock solid or are you kind of a little bit iffy? So if you're a little bit iffy, I would say talk to people who have had a strong product experience. If you haven't yourself, maybe you're a healthy, youngish person and you're saying, I felt pretty healthy before USANA. I still feel pretty healthy. And I can't really say that I feel a difference. Well, that may be the case, but then convince yourself that you probably have nutritional deficiencies and show yourself that, most of the studies show that you're not getting the micronutrients that you need. And if you continue that for a long enough time, you are setting yourself up for chronic inflammation and degenerative disease. Or talk to someone who has had a dramatic product experience, maybe somebody who had significant health challenges, and they definitely have a before and after story. Okay, if you have not been to convention, oh my goodness, that's probably one of the strongest things you can do to build product belief is step 1 foot inside of our world-class research and development facility. I mean, that was a huge building block for me in terms of my product belief. When I could see the quality of the facility, I mean, that just substantiated to me that, wow, these are really quality products because look at all of the R&D, look at all the science, look at all of the investment USANA has made in creating a product line. And that belief really came from me when I saw it for myself. So if you haven't been to convention, let me just put it this way. I have never met one person with a good USANA business. When I say good, I mean they're making a good, solid, consistent, recurring income stream. I have never met one person who has not gone to convention regularly. All right, so I'm just going to put that out there. So if you're really serious about growth, if you really believe that this business has come into your life for a reason and you want to see it change your lifestyle, you have to invest in convention. I don't care what it takes. If you have to get a part-time job between now and the end of August, if you have to cut back in some areas, if you have to sell something, do whatever it takes to get yourself to convention and go on the tour, get in the facility. Even if you're not a director, which hats off to Jared and your team for allowing a private tour, that's phenomenal. Our team does the same thing. Even if you're not a director and you're a sharer, get on the bus and go to your tour of the convention. That's just the strongest thing. So number one, a strong product belief, okay? I don't believe you can have a great company without a great product line. And I have to say, one thing that makes USANA different from a lot of companies that I've seen through the years come and go, most of them have gone, some of them are still around, but one thing that separates USANA, I think, from all companies is that we first had a great product, okay? And this is really key to grasp, you guys, even for grasping the business. USANA started with a great product, okay? We didn't start with a couple of smart business people getting together saying, hey, network marketing is a powerful business model. It affords leverage and recurring income, which is all true. What should we sell? USANA didn't start that way. USANA started with the scientist, Dr. Myron Wentz, and his passion for cellular nutrition and a better way of staying healthy. It started with the product line. And then secondarily, he had to find a way to bring it to the world, okay? This is fundamentally different from any other company I've ever heard of in this entire multi-billion-dollar industry called network marketing, okay? So it's one thing that truly sets USANA apart. Now, I will say there's many good companies out there. It's a good industry. I like the industry. I don't put companies down. But I am going to say, I don't think with bias that there's not a company that started with a product line like USANA Health Sciences started with a product line. Okay, so number one, product belief. So number two, once you're rock solid on the products, once you know you are making a good investment in your health, then it's a belief in the company. And I've alluded a little bit to what that means. You have to have a lot of conviction that the executive staff of the company are people of integrity, that USANA is doing the right thing with their investment dollars, that USANA is a company that's going to do the right thing because after all, you know, you're representing this company, but you're not making the decisions that this company makes, which affect, you know, people in public. And so you have to have confidence in your leadership staff. Well, one thing I love about USANA is we didn't start last year. We've got a company that's got a track record, okay, a 20-plus year track record of doing the right thing. That is very, very important to me. So, you know, if someone says in public, hey, Dr. Hryszczuk, you're with that USANA company, I can, like, you know, raise my chest and say, that's right, I sure am. You know, I can hold my head high that our company doesn't have scandals, okay, that our company has basically helped write the standards for quality nutritional supplementation in a lot of categories, okay? So number one, belief in the product line, that you got a fairly priced, very high quality product that's impacting lives. Number two, the company USANA is a solid company that you can stand behind, okay? We're a debt-free company. We have a track record of success. We're publicly traded. You know, year after year, we've got solid, consistent growth. We're not like, you know, a firecracker going off in like 5 years. We've hit the ceiling. You don't know where we're going to go. This is a company that has multi-decade, solid, year after year growth. Okay, you know, approaching the $1 billion mark, if not having surpassed it already this year. So that's a huge thing, is belief that our company is a strong, solid company that you can be proud of. So those are the first two things. Third thing is you have to have a strong belief, and this was really hard for me, okay? I already alluded to it a little bit, but you have to know that network marketing is a really great business model. And this one, I'll be honest with you, I was embarrassed about network marketing, only because of the negativity I've heard through the years and kind of the looks people gave you. You know, I was just kind of shied away from it. I thought, yeah, we got a great product, and yeah, but there's this network marketing thing. And I was kind of a little bit embarrassed about that, I'll be honest. And so what do you do if you don't have a strong belief in network marketing? What do you do if someone says, is this network marketing? And you feel a little bit like you kind of recoil inside, okay? If you can't say, absolutely, it's network marketing, you know, if you don't feel proud about that, then that means your belief isn't strong in network marketing. So what should you do? Well, here's what I did. I did some reading, and an author that has really been helpful for me through the years is Robert Kiyosaki. Okay, I find him to be an author who writes to teach, not to impress. Okay, I find that he has a lot of experience, a lot of success, and he brings complicated topics down to my level where I can understand them. So I read books like, you know, The Business of the 21st Century, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Cash Flow Quadrant. You know, I've read basically every book he's written, I think, just about. But those were books that were very helpful to me. Another author hugely helpful was Paul Zane Pilzer, okay? Economist Paul Pilzer. And if I can make one recommendation for you, if you're listening, and you want to strengthen your belief in the industry of network marketing, I would say get the book and get the CD called The Next Millionaires, all right? The Next Millionaires. Like, I'm giving you gold here, okay? So I Googled Paul Zane Pilzer. I downloaded some of his articles. He has some very, very nice 2- and 3-page articles about the industry of network marketing. I used to photocopy the ones I liked the best. I'd walk around with 5, 10 photocopies stapled together, nice copies, color copies, and I'd hand them out to someone who was seriously considering, you know, looking at what I was doing. And I'll tell you what, Kilzer is smart. He's articulate. He's had massive success financially as an entrepreneur. He's not like some ivory tower egghead who, you know, can talk a good talk. But I believe he made his first million by maybe in his 20s and like a decamillionaire in his 30s, okay? So his ideas have played out in the marketplace. And so when I read Kilzer and I read Kiyosaki, that really fortified me when my colleagues at work, my peers, would kind of laugh a little bit or kind of look down their nose at, this network marketing thing I was doing. And, I got joked at, I got ribbed about it, just like, probably a lot of you do. But I tell you what, I didn't give up and I didn't back down because of Paul Kilzer and Robert Kiyosaki. All right. They really, really helped me build my belief in network marketing. Even a guy like Tim Sales, he had some material back years ago about network marketing, very helpful for me. I'm trying to think what his CD was called that I probably listened to 100 times, if not more. Brilliant Compensation, that's what it was called, Brilliant Compensation. So there's some really good content out there, and there's plenty of other people. Now we have Eric Worre. I'm sure you're all familiar with his work. But get with somebody who you trust, get with somebody whose tone that you really like, and spend some time listening to their audios. Jim Rohn would be someone else for me. Listen to their material, listen to their arguments, listen to their ideas, and fortify yourself and prove to yourself that network marketing really is a strong business model as far as a distribution model of getting a product from the company to the end user, all right? You have to have that belief. If your belief isn't strong in the industry of network marketing as a distribution vehicle, you're going to suffer in your business, all right? I wrote my book, Royalty Income, for that kind of person in mind. I want to pull together everything I had read through the years before I kind of forgot about it, and I want to put it in one spot to help strengthen you and help show your prospects that this is a smart business model, okay? This truly is the business of the next business model. It's the next advancement, really, in entrepreneurship and business marketing. So a lot of good books out there. Read the books, listen to CDs, build your belief in network marketing. And then the last thing I would say that you have to get strong in if you want to build a big business is you have to grow yourself, okay? And I've heard you guys allude to this on your conference call just in the beginning, but investing in your own personal development. You have to grow as a person. In order for you to have more, you must first become more, okay? The person you are today is going to be the results you're getting today. If you don't like the results you have in your life today, then you have to change who you are. And the amazing thing is, if you invest little by little, 15 minutes, 30 minutes a day, okay, if you invest in your personal development 30 minutes a day by the books you read, the audios you listen to, maybe the mentoring phone calls that you have, if you'll invest in yourself a little bit each day, whether you feel like it or not, I'm telling you, you can literally grow a new brain, to borrow a term from Artemis Limpert. You can grow a new brain. And I'm telling you, you have to grow a new brain to really succeed in this industry. I had to. I had so many limiting beliefs of what are people thinking of me? What will they think when they find out I'm in network marketing? What will my friends say? What will my colleagues say? What will the nurses say at the hospital? I cared so much about what people thought of me as if it really mattered. And I explained this process in my book of just this painful but metamorphic and transforming process I had to go through to find success in this industry where I could truly prospect somebody. And if they said no or even said no with a little bit of a little attitude, it didn't get me down. Okay, it didn't get me down. If I had somebody drop out of my business, they cancel their auto ship, they turn their they turn their free business builder pack back in. And yes, I've had that happen to me, guys, more times than one. Auto ships quit. People don't show up for meetings. People, just flat out say that's a joke. I've endured so much rejection, and I would not have been able to handle it if it wasn't for the personal development that I went through the years. So I'm just telling you, you will not find success if you don't go to convention. You will not find success if you're not actively listening or reading to something positive. I would say 30 minutes a day, okay? Jim Rohn says miss a meal, but don't miss your 30 minutes, okay? Miss your lunch, don't miss your 30 minutes. I'll tell you what, there's literally been times where I've missed a meal, but I got in my book, okay? Depends what you want. Depends what you want. And
yeah, that's really good. I said that's really good advice. What was a turning point for you, like for you personally in your USANA journey? I know, you talked about the rejection and all that. What was it that was the turning point for you?
Well, I tell you what, and this is probably the single most important thing of it all, and that is you have to have a strong why. And what I mean by that is you got to know what you're fighting for, okay? So if you have other things in place, you know you got a good company, you know you got a good product line, you know you have a good industry. If you don't know how you want your life to change in 3 to 5 years, you won't have the gas in the tank to do what it takes. So you have to have a strong, clear, compelling vision statement that matters so much to you that when you read it, it brings tears to your eyes. And I'm telling you, if you don't have that, you will quit the journey because it's just flat out too painful.
So how did you manage to work your business part-time? Because I know you're a busy anesthesiologist, you have a family, and I know you've done a lot of philanthropy work. How do you manage to work it part-time?
My motto has always been do at least one thing every day for your business. And so when I was at the hospital working full-time, I'm married, I have 4 kids. You know, when I say full-time, I'm working my full-time weeks for 60, 70, 80 hours a week, okay, 24-hour shifts sometimes. I would just simply do at least one thing every day. So maybe it was inviting somebody to an upcoming event, handing out a CV, all right, giving them a link, getting an email address, just doing something every single day to grow your business. And we call them business building activities. And you guys, I'm sure, teach them what that is. But just it's consistency. And little amounts over time will really add up.
All right, I'm taking a lot of notes here. I'm sure everyone else is as well. That's been great. Could you maybe share a little bit more of your personal journey with USANA?
Yeah, sure. So when I first heard about USANA, I had been primed a little bit. I'd read some of the Kiyosaki books. I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. So my light bulb went on as far as assets and liabilities. And I thought, you know what? I have to build assets. And I did a little bit into real estate. And then Kiyosaki said network marketing is a phenomenal business model. So I was kind of primed a little bit when network marketing came along. I was in a place where I liked my day job, but I was gone too much. I have my kids were little back then. This is almost 10 years ago. And I really felt like I was not around enough. So I wanted more time. That was my driving why. That was what I was willing to fight for. That was what I was willing to endure rejection for, is I wanted time, because I really knew if I didn't get the time with my kids, I was going to have regret someday. And I hate regrets. And so I took this business seriously. And once I was convinced that it could deliver the kind of income that I needed to change my lifestyle, I got to work. All right, I got to work. I started taking it seriously. I started doing all the things I talked about in the beginning of this call. I started doing them consistently. I wouldn't let a day pass I didn't do something where I'm inviting somebody, presenting information, following up. I made sure every single day I did something while I was working full-time, mind you, to grow my business. And that's how I was number 2 grower one year as a full-time anesthesiologist. I just got motivation, and I just didn't give up any day. I did something every day to grow the business. And so, I had some growth in the first 2 years, hit a level of gold, got to go to Gold Retreat, got to see the people and build belief further. And then it was just continuing more of the same. Just the inviting, the presenting, the following up, the duplication, being mentored, talking to people about the limiting beliefs I had and the challenges I had, and being honest and open with that and growing through them. And then next thing you know, you're hitting gold, you're hitting ruby, you're getting to emerald, and now you're attracting other leaders to your team. And because you've done the hard work of personal development, you'll never attract somebody to you that unless you already have that quality. So I was fortunate to attract some other strong leaders, and we worked together, and we built a very, very strong residual income business to the point where in 2015, I was able to take my family to Honduras, and then basically we left North America. I went down to Central America for a whole year, and I did anesthesia at the hospital for free at a Christian hospital, and I didn't need to take a salary from the hospital. My wife didn't need to take a salary from the school because we got paid every week for my USANA business. So
Wow.
It definitely changed our lifestyle.
So, Dr. Steve, it always, you know what, I know that leaders lots of times hit a plateau and they kind of stay there and they're stuck. Did you not ever hit a plateau? I mean, you just kind of just appear to just keep going up. Was that something you didn't have to deal with?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I didn't give up until I reached my goal. And here's what personally happened to me. I hit a goal where I had a diamond level solid income, and I was able to drop to a very part-time schedule. I probably could have walked away from anesthesia entirely. In fact, for about a half a year, I did leave my anesthesia group, left my practice, and I didn't do any anesthesia for about 6 months. And the USANA income was there. It was solid, and I had time for my kids. And I'll tell you what happened. I was about at a diamond level, and I plateaued there. But what happened was, my younger leaders who I raised up were now starting to catch me and pass me. And I was like, wait a minute, I don't want them to pass me. And so, a little competitive. But then I felt God saying, you know what, Steve, I gave you what you came after. You wanted time for your family, and you've been given it. And I did. And so I'll be honest with you, I have kind of plateaued for the last, 3-4 years, because I really got what I came for. I came for time with my family. And so everybody has to dig deep and find out, what is that income that is going to give you your dream life? What is it? What is your dream life? And I realized when my dream life happened, where I had time to decide how I was going to invest my life, I kind of went in maintenance mode, and I've pretty much been in maintenance mode for probably the last, 3 years or so, maybe 3 or so years. So I did plateau, but not until I reached my why, because my why brought tears to my eyes when I thought about it, and I wasn't going to give up until I reached it.
Wow.
So I would say if you haven't reached your goal, let's say you're kind of halfway there, you're fourth way there, and you're saying, yeah, Dr. Steve, I have plateaued and I haven't reached my why and I don't feel good about that. You got to get back with your why. Go to that quiet place where you can dream, where you can be inspired, where you can think about how do you want your life to look in the next 5 years? How do you want it to look? And get back to that place and decide, does this still matter to you? And are you okay getting to the end of your life not having achieved it? And if the answer is no, then you got to get back to work.
Wow.
Okay, that's great advice. Dr. Steve, you are a medical professional, and I was, a lot of people struggle with this. How do you approach a medical professional when discussing USANA? Like, how do you do it? Because you know how professionals do.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I do. I tend to avoid medical professionals because they're so closed, even cynical. I know that's not the answer you want, but I'll tell you what. If you do have a doctor and they're open, okay, let's say they're about as rare as like probably a zebra walking around Salt Lake City. But let's say you find a medical professional that's open to looking. Okay, so you got to show them some credibility. You can't talk about, hey, you could sell this stuff, make a lot of money, change your practice, because no doctor's going to like offer something to their patients unless they're fully convinced that they're really going to help people. So it's offensive to a medical provider if you hint that there's a business attached to this if they don't have solid product belief. I hope you understand that, okay? It's offensive to them. So what you have to do is you have to help them get their own product belief. Here's a good example. I have a friend from medical school, so we have some history, okay? And we hook up after not talking for about 10 years, went different directions. I tell him a little bit about USANA. He tries it just because we were friends in med school. And he feels a difference. Like he just thinks, I think this is probably doing something for me. Well, his partner, okay, and here's how it happens. His partner is kind of an anti-vitamin guy. Just doesn't take them, doesn't really have an opinion, just doesn't really know anything about them. But he's got terrible restless leg. I mean, so bad his restless legs wake him up at night. Like 3 times every night, wakes him up, wakes his wife up every night. Nothing helps. And so my friend Chris gives his partner a health pack, gives him a few health packs. Well, the first night he takes his health pack, he has no restless leg. Second night, no restless leg. Third night, no restless leg. So do you know what this guy's belief is now? He's like, where do I get my own health packs? So you have to help a medical provider develop some product belief. And that can come by, I still like that red book of Dr. Ray Strand's from 10 years ago, What Your Doctor Doesn't Know About Nutritional Medicine. If someone will read, that could be a helpful book. The comparative guide might be helpful. Doctors are analyzers, so they're going to tend to be analyzers. But you gotta like, if you give them information, you have to use the Eric Worre line, if I will you, right? If I give you this book, will you listen to it? If I give you a CD, will you listen to it? Hey, if I invite you to this event, do you think you can come? You got to create some urgency to it. You just can't hand them stuff. You're going to be wasting your money. So, medical professionals, they're tough to get because it can be kind of closed, but you got to find a real need to build product belief is what I'll say, or go through their wives, okay? Work through their wives first and then try to get them on board. Or if the other spouse is not the physician.
Yeah, total sense. I'm gonna, if anyone has, we have a few minutes left for questions. If anyone has a question, either raise your hand. We have a lot on the phone, or text me at 801-870-1630. Again, that's 801-870-1630. Again, Dr. Steele, I've taken 3 pages of notes based on your talk tonight. Just amazing. And I can definitely see the importance in the why and having a clear vision statement that brings you to tears every time you read it. Because you're absolutely right. This is a business that does take work, does take dedication. And if you have something like you wanted time freedom with your children, if you've got something that's driving you to success, it's a lot easier. So thank you so much for your topics tonight. Again, I've learned a lot. So
Oh, you're very welcome.
Oh, you bet. Okay, I'm going to open it up for at least one more minute. Oh, I have a question here from Khalid. Let me unmute Khalid. Khalid, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you fine.
Okay, great. Dr. Hryszczuk, my question is, when you're introducing someone to USANA and they're looking as far as the business side to get started, how important would you say it is for them to understand the comp plan and how we actually make money? Do you say that that's important, or that's not really something that you think they really need to know, like, clearly?
Okay, do you mean for the initial meeting or months after?
Yeah, before they sign up, when they're like looking into it before they sign up.
I'd say very unimportant for most people. Very unimportant for most people. Here's why. The comp plan, it's points flowing up, it's circles, it's, cash out, payout, 10%, 20%. All that stuff is just kind of like, you don't sell somebody a Mac computer by saying, hey, let me show you how it works, and they take it apart and show you the inside circuitry. It doesn't really matter to most people. What people want to know is this a vehicle that I can believe in that can get me what I want in life? That's what really matters. So I work more on selling them on the dream that this can work for them than I do necessarily helping them understand 10%, 20%, one business center, 3 business center. I think you can lose a lot of motivation if you spend too much time on the comp plan in the beginning. If someone just has to know, I might give them a little bit of information if it seems like they just are stuck on it. Or better yet, I'll say, I'll send you a video, and then just send them one of our short videos. We have great little animated videos that show the comp plan that can do a lot better job than blabbing at people. But I would more sell them on the vision, the dream, the vehicle, than the specifics of the comp plan and how we make money. I don't find that that's really most helpful. I didn't understand how I made money probably the first few months I was in this thing. I didn't get it. And I moved forward, and I'm an anesthesiologist. I'm pretty analytical and cautious, and it didn't matter to me. I just had to know that the guy that was signing me up, I could trust him, and he understood it, and that was enough for me.
Got it. Okay, cool. Awesome. I don't know. I don't want to ask another question if somebody else is waiting. Anybody there?
Yeah, it's a great question, though. Very good question.
I don't have anyone else that's texted me so far. Khalid, if you have another question, go ahead.
Okay. When you say, like, you selling that vision, selling that dream, would you say a part of that would be kind of explaining, kind of like how you said you like Robert Hryszczuk, like I really like him too. Would it be like kind of maybe teaching them and showing them that, like, what is it called, the Quadrant, with the employee, self-employed, business, investor type of deal, kind of selling that as well, or just selling like pure, like, like the royalty income, the residual income, kind of that kind of vision?
Yes, I would say that's much better. I would sell them on concepts, like exactly like you said. I would sell them on concepts like, hey, let me show you this. Have you ever heard of the 4 versus the 40-year plan? No, what is that about? You know, I would sell them on concepts that you can doodle out on a napkin in a casual setting. Those are the things that I think people get excited about. Those are the paradigm shift ideas where their eyes open up. They go, wow, I never thought of that. Are you kidding me? I mean, there are people who create as much marketplace productivity in 4 years as some people create in 40, and you can, like, mathematically show them how that's true. I mean, you're not fooling them. You're not tricking them. You just show them mathematically how it happens. And I love those kinds of concepts, you know. So absolutely, I would say, and in fact, we teach on this on our team, is just be able to do a napkin presentation for the cash flow quadrant. Just show them, you know, you're it's not good or bad, but, you know, people are wired up differently. Maybe you're a frustrated E quadrant person because of this. Maybe at heart you're more of an entrepreneur. Maybe you're really hungering for your own business. Let me show you what an E and an S and a B is, you know. So I love those ideas. And, you know, in the 4 versus the 40 plan, or any of those things, those are all really great concepts to teach on. Those are much better to just help people see, look, here's where you are in life, and it's not good or bad. You know, if that's what you want to be in 5 years, just keep doing what you're doing. But if you want something more, if you want maybe to have your big income, if you want a 6-figure income, but you want the time to enjoy it, here's a paradigm shift that you have to embrace somehow. Those are the things that I think people get more excited about.
Got it. Okay. Great.
Yeah, so learn those things. And then just learn the language of people who use those concepts well. You know, Kiyosaki does a great job of that. You know, I tried to put it in my own words in my book, you know, try to put it out there. So there's a lot of good places to find people that explain that stuff well. And just make it your own, you know, make it your words. Make it so you can, like, explain it to your younger brother or your sister, your mom or your grandma. Like, just simplify it, you know. It's not about impressing someone. It's just getting, you know, belly to belly with them and showing them something that you found, and then get a little excited about it and show them. And if you, you know, if you say, well, but Dr. Steve, I'm only a share, that's okay. You know, you got some new concepts. You're excited that you're starting a journey. Every journey has a beginning. You're just getting started. But you can point to people like Jared and Randy and Viola, you know, Dr. Steve. You can point to all different people that they can relate to and identify with, right? And you can say, yeah, I'm just getting started. I haven't made much money yet, but I get these ideas, and here's where I'm going, and I'm excited about it. And I'll tell you what, if you have sincere enthusiasm, oh my gosh, does that attract people? Because when you're sincerely enthusiastic, people wonder what they're missing out on. They wonder, what do you know that I don't know? Why are you so excited about something? And then they're curious, okay? And then you can just, you know, you can give them a little bit, right? Give them a little bit. So here's what's something I'm learning about. Here's how this, you know, here's how this vitamin company applies all this stuff.
Got it. Okay, that's great. So the quadrant, and then like that 4 versus 40-year plans. You got like any other ones, like little ones, like just real quick? I don't want to take up.
Yeah, I'm trying to think offhand. 4 versus 40. The ESBI is good. What are the other ones? I'm sure there's other ones out there I just can't think of right now. But I mean, they'll, you know, just if you just read through, I mean, you know, any of those books, I mean, they just have all those ideas. I try to put some in my book. I can't remember them right offhand, but yeah, those are 2 great ones to start with right there. I mean, that'll get you a lot of mileage right there. That'll drum up a lot of good conversation with just that. You know, and you don't need that much. I mean, those 2 concepts right there, if you dribble those concepts on the right person, I am telling you that will rock their world, okay? And if you share those concepts with enthusiasm and somebody gives you a yawn, guess what you just found? You found a person who is not a prospect. That's it. It's not good or bad. Yeah. You just found someone this is not for them. And this business isn't for most people, right? I mean, it's neither good or bad. You just found someone that's not for them. Move on. It's okay, right? It's okay. Just move on. Biggest thing I see people get stuck on, they spend too much time with the wrong people. They spend too much time on the wrong people. You got to just say less to more people, right? Knock on more doors. Just see what's going on. If people kind of yawn and you share a concept like that and they kind of yawn, it's okay. Maybe they're the right person, but it's the wrong time. That could also be it, right? You tried to share this stuff with me the first year I got out of residency, I'd have been like, what are you talking about? I just you know, went through 12 years of education. I want to be an anesthesiologist for a while. So you have to respect timing as well. Timing is another big part of it. So if you see potential in someone and they yawn or they get cynical, but you see potential in them, just circle back in 6 months or a year or 2 years. You know, circle back. because the time may change.
Got it. Got it. It might even be like a good, like almost like a filtering process too, like for the business side at least.
Yeah. Yeah, just stay connected. Don't write people off if you see potential. If someone's outright negative, though, I avoid negative people. And you're going to find them. There's some real negative ones out there, and I'm just telling you, they're like toxic bombs. And you'll share something, and they just kind of like explode cynical on you. Just back off, write them up, cross them off your list. Just get away from really negative people. They'll drain you.
Got it. Awesome. That was great. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you,
Yeah.
Khalid. Thank you, Khalid. Excellent questions. Again, I just want to go through my notes quickly on what I picked up from you, Dr. Steve. You talked about the 4 beliefs, the products, the company, network marketing, and of course yourself. And then great tips on books to read. Robert Kiyosaki, reading Business of the 21st Century, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Cash Flow Quadrant. Paul Zane Pilsner, I got Next Millionaires. That's one book that I think I have not read, so it's going to be added right to the top of my list now on his. And then the Tim Sales, Brilliant Compensation. And of course, Eric Worre. Eric Worre is what we have structured our fast track manual after. So again, and then having a strong why and then strong vision statement. So thank you so much, Dr. Steve. Amazing. Great nuggets. Like I said, I'm up to 4 pages of notes now that I definitely will take a lot to heart. And I know the one book that I'm going to be adding next to the book that I read for my DMO. And thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule. Thanks again so much. And I appreciate everything you've done for us tonight, Dr. Steve.
Oh, well, you're very welcome. It's been a pleasure and honor to be on your call with your team. You guys are doing just a great job, leading by example. You guys have tremendous leaders, by the way, for have someone like Randy and Viola and Jared hosting a call like this. So thanks for letting me be a part.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Steve, and good night.
Okay, good night.